Hi, and welcome to my YouTube channel, Network Tech Zone. My name is Sanjana. Today in this video, we are going to learn about ASA firewall configuration related to HTTP, ICMP, DNS, and also configure SSH and Telnet access on ASA firewall. We have a simple topology with the ASA 5505 connected to a switch, which is connected to two other local PCs with a subnet mask /24 for 192.168.10.0 with the inside interface with security level 100 and outside interface with security level 0. Okay. And we have a router, which is our ISP router, connected to the Google server with 8.8.8.8 and 8.1 on this interface here on the ISP router. Okay, so this interface having IP address 200.10.10.1 and 200.10.10.2 on this interface here. I have already configured the two interface on this router. And if you want to verify it, you can check using the command. Show IP interface brief section up. So you can see that there are two interfaces which is already pre-configured on this router. And by default, the ASA firewall will have some configurations already, but we can modify it accordingly. The password is just blank. So you can say show run, and you can see that there are already VLANs present here with the IP address that has been automatically assigned, but we can remove it and modify it as per our requirement. So let's copy this. And there is also a DHCP pool, which we need to remove it. So go to global configuration mode, okay, and say no, and give the command no IP address, and that will, there's a space here. That will delete those IP address, which is already pre-configured in this firewall interface VLAN 1. And then say no here. Okay, now let's remove the DHCP pool. Okay. We also remove this. We don't want auto config on the outside because we will manually assign the IP address. Exit. Let's verify with show run command. Okay. All right. So we don't have the IP address. So we are good to go ahead and assign the IP address now. Okay, so let's assign the IP address first on the DHCP server. This is the DHCP server. So I'm going to IP configuration. So we got to assign IP address for IPv4 8.8.8.8 with subnet mask here. That is, let's allocate /24. So, okay, and default gateway for this DHCP server, I mean the Google server, is 8.8.8.1. This port is going to be the default gateway. So we will say eight dot 8.8.1. And DNS server is going to be the same IP address for the Google. So that's 8.8.8.8. Okay. So we're done with the DHC, we are done with the Google server configuration here. And let's move on to the router. A router is already pre-configured, which we just saw. So we're good with the router, but we need to check on the VLANs of there's a Cisco ASA firewall. Let's allocate them an IP address for and name it as inside and outside. So configuration, interface VLAN 1, IP address. So let's keep the IP address here. It's 192.168.1. Sorry, it's 10.1. Yeah. This IP address or here on Ethernet 0/0, okay, with the /24, name if inside. By default, the security level will be 100, but no harm to specify the security level and exit out. Okay, so let's go on VLAN 2, which is the outside. So interface VLAN 2 IP address 192.1. IP address is 200.10.10.1. Okay, that's what we see here. Okay, and /24 name if this is the outside. Security level by default will be 0, but no harm in specifying it. Exit it. Okay, so let's verify with show run. You can see that the VLANs have been configured for inside and outside, and IP address is also configured. You can also verify using the command show IP address. Okay, you can see these details configured. You can also verify with one more address, which show switch VLAN. Okay, and you can see these details is configured. And let's add these ports within the VLANs now. Okay, so go to configuration mode, interface Ethernet 0/0, switch port, mode, access, switch port, access, VLAN 1. Okay, and we have one more port here for VLAN 2, which is where we need to configure Ethernet 0/1 within VLAN 2. Go to exit out of this and go to interface Ethernet 0/1, switch port mode, access, switch port, access, VLAN 2. Okay, that's it. So now we have configured the ports to the VLANs. Okay, so the next step is we need to make sure that these PCs get the automatic assignment of IP address from the DHCP, and we need to enable the DHCP on the Cisco ASA firewall so that it can automatically assign the IP address to these PCs. So going on to the Cisco ASA firewall on the global configuration mode, okay, and specify DHCP address. So we are telling the Cisco ASA firewall that we are creating a pool and allocate the IP address based on the pool. So let's give the IP address is 192.168. Since 10.1 is already allocated to this interface, so let's say 192.168.10.5 until a range 192.168.10.10. Okay, so let's keep 15 here. Say inside DHCP DNS, we know it is the Google DNS 8.8.8.8. Okay, and we need to specify the default gateway. So for the default gateway, it is 10.1. So let's keep the same. So that's option 3, IP 192.168.10.1. Okay. Enable DHCP for inside. So DHCP enable inside. Exit out. Okay. So let's go ahead and see if your PCs are able to get the automated assignment of IP address. And there it is. You can check for this PC. There it is. Okay, so DHCP request has been successfully accepted by these PCs. So next step is we need to have a configuration done from this ASA towards this router, the ISP router. We need to enable the default route on the Cisco ASA firewall. So to give the Cisco default gateway configuration, go to configuration mode again, interface. Yeah, okay, you just go to the route outside 0.0.0.0, 0.0.0.0. Okay, and the IP address here is 10.2. That's what we are going to specify here, 200.10.10.2. Okay, so you can verify it using the command show route. There it is. The next step is you need to enable the NAT on this firewall. To enable the NAT, it is very simple. Object, network, inside, net. You need to assign subnet for the inside. So it's 192.168.10.0. That's the network address. It's /24, right? With the NAT. Inside. Dynamic. Interface. You can verify it using the command show net. Okay. Now we have configured the NAT on this Cisco ASA firewall. Okay. Now let's see if there is a movement of the traffic from the PC towards this Google server. You can see the packets are getting dropped. Let's verify. So ping 8.8.8.8. The packets are getting failed because Cisco is firewall is blocking the traffic. We need to allow the ICMP traffic to pass through. So let's go ahead and configure it on this firewall on a global configuration mode. Class map, inspection, default. Inspection underscore default. Don't forget with the symbols there to indicate the space and underscore symbols. Match default. Let's exit out of this first. Okay, let's redo it. Configuration mode. Class map, inspection underscore default. Match default hyphen inspection hyphen traffic. Exit out. Okay. Again, you're in a global configuration mode. So in the global configuration mode, policy map global underscore policy class inspection underscore default. Okay. So here you can allow multiple inspection, okay, of traffics. So you maybe, for example, you can inspect HTTP. That's what we wanted. We also need inspection of ICMP. We should be able to ping the Google server. So I will allow ICMP and also inspect DNS. Okay. Exit out of this. And don't forget to enable this service policy. Service policy, global underscore default global. Okay, it says policy map global default does not exist. We need to configure this. Policy map global service policy global policy underscore policy global end. Okay, let's go with verification. Show run. The NAT is configured. That's what we can see here with the dynamic interface configured. So we configured those three inspection for DNS, HTTP, ICMP. The service policy is configured and also match the default inspection traffic. Okay, so let's go ahead and check if you're able to now ping the Google IP address, ping 8.8.8.8. You are getting the reply. You're able to ping the details on the destination Google server. Okay, so you can also see if you're able to perform the inspection for DNS. On the Google server, let's go to services, DNS. The IP address is 8.8.8.8. So let's give a name called maybe www.asa.com. Yeah. And enable the service. From the PC, let's try to open the web browser and specify 8.8.8.8. There it is. If you have to, since we have configured the inspection for DNS, and if you would like to give it a name instead of IP address, so www.asa.com, that will have to work. We're getting unresolved, but let me see. It's because it was not added, so we need to add it. 8.8.8.8 www.asa.com. Click the add button. Okay, so now it should work. From the PC. Okay, that worked. All right, so we are able to ping using the IP address, and we are able to even get through the web browser with the help of the name instead of IP address in the web browser. So DNS is working absolutely fine. So now the last step is configure SSH on this ASA firewall so that you can access the firewall from this PC, okay, remotely. So let's go ahead and enable the SSH on the firewall. To enable it, you always we have to make sure that we give it a username and a password. So I'll say username is admin, password admin, okay? And then say SSH. And for the inside IP address 192.168.10.0 with /24. Yeah. And inside, okay? And don't forget to give the timeout. So 5 minutes for the timeout. And a AAA authentication, AAA authentication SSH console local end. There it is. Okay, so we have configured the SSH. Let's go ahead and see if you're able to log into the ASA firewall on the PC. From the PC, using the command prompt, SSH-l admin 192.168.10.1. That worked. It's asking for the password, and I say admin. There it is. And I have still not given enable password. You can go ahead and give an enable password if you would like to. That's very simple. Enable password, and let's say enable for the password. Okay, let's verify. Let's exit out. SSH admin 192.168.10.1. Password is admin. Enable password. There it is. Until you don't give the password, it don't allow you in to go to the privilege mode. So for the enable password, your password is ENABLE. And there it is. So we have configured SSH successfully. We now have to configure Telnet. So configuration of Telnet is similar to SSH. It's very simple. You just need to give a username again. I don't want to change my username. I'll give the same. So username, admin, password, admin, okay, and Telnet. Telnet 192.168.10.0. This is your inside network with /24 for inside. And timeout for Telnet is 5 minutes. And AAA authentication, Telnet console, local, end it. Okay. So if you want to verify it, show run. This is the configuration for your Telnet that you have just done. Okay. So just let's go to the PC. Let's say exit out of this. On the PC, let's give Telnet 192.168.10.1. It's asking for the username, admin. Password is admin. Enable password, and password for enable is ENABLE again. Okay, so that is taking you to the Cisco ASA firewall from your local local computer. Okay, so far what we have just done today in this lab is we have been able to configure ICMP, and we were able to observe the traffic flow using ICMP, HTTP, DNS, okay, and also configure SSH on a Cisco ASA firewall and Telnet so that we can access this firewall using our PC remotely. I hope that this video has been helpful to you all. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and stay tuned for the next videos. I'll see you in the next videos. Till then, take care and thanks for watching.